Hi, Enzo here. Welcome to my kitchen. Today we're going to make beer battered prawns. What we need for this recipe is our medium-sized prawns. We need a beer. In this case, I choose a lager, light and crisp. We need ketchup manis, Indonesian sweet ketchup, sesame seed, besan flour. Now, besan flour is chickpea flour. A bit of salt and a tablespoon of olive oil, a zest of a lemon. What I've done here, I've marinated the beer, marinated the prawns into the beer and ketchup. I'm going to take this out and reduce down this marinade into a glaze consistency. And just to use it as a dipping sauce for my prawns. And I'm going to put this in a hot pot. In the meantime here, we have the besan flour, which we're going to put in a larger bowl for the butter, and we're just going to leave some besan flour aside to coat our prawns. For the butter, we need 100 ml of lager beer, so they're roughly, and 1 egg white, which we're going to whisk. I'm going to stir this up, nice and smooth consistency, and let it rest for 10 minutes. Just a pinch of salt and olive oil, just a tablespoon of it. Now the beer needs to be chilled. The last beer into it. And then after it's rested, it will take probably roughly 10 minutes. We can add whipped egg whites into it to make it nice and light. My egg whites are almost ready to where I want them to be. This is a soft medium peak, I would say. And we're going to fold this through our butter, which has been rested for 10 minutes aside. And what I'll do, I'll just put it all of it like that. It makes it nice and fluffy. Just put it through it. Very gentle. Try not to break all the air out, like so. And now the prawns. So a little bit of in the besan flour, just to coat them nicely. I'm going to do 5. And then into the butter. And then some pumpkin, some vegetables. Now as soon as they come out of the butter, I'll just shook the excess of the butter off into sesame seeds. You can use also black sesame seeds and white together. They'll give a nice looking at the prawns when they're done. And then into the hot oil. Use just a vegetable oil, even canola oil, they'll do. So into the fry. Nice and gentle. Until they're golden and brown. Will not take much, probably a couple of minutes, just both sides. So what I'm doing here, just a little lemon zest into the glaze. It'll give you a nice little acidity through it, which will complement very well the prawns. And the prawns look like they're ready to come out. So we'll just take them out until nice golden brown. Even my pumpkin looks absolutely delicious. On paper towels to absorb excessive oil. So I'm just putting some raw crudité, which is just raw vegetables just on the bottom to give some color and some different texture. These are just little baby leeks that been cut and put in cold water. The prawns all around. And the glaze on top of it, or on the side. Bon appetit.
We're here at Mountain Goat in Richmond. Let's go and see what Dave, one of the goat boys, is doing. Dave, tell us about your beer.
Absolutely, Gage. Cam and I, my business partner Cam and I, started this brewery 13 years ago to make exciting beers, to get to the beers that we wanted to drink and get excited about. We both had been studying and travelling around the world a bit, and it seems to us, this was independent as well, we went travelling together. It seems to us we came back and into Australia in the early 90s, and there was two kinds of beer. There was heavy beer and there was light beer. And they pretty much tasted the same. They pretty much looked the same. One had less alcohol in it than the other. And we just thought, where are the stouts? Where are the IPAs? Where are the amber ales? So I started homebrewing, basically, in the backyard, trying to make a hoppy amber ale. And it seemed that went okay. People seemed to enjoy it. And Cam, at the same time, probably being the more entrepreneurial one of the two of us, said, why don't we try to start a business? There's no microbreweries in Melbourne, in which there weren't at the time. And so we just set about making interesting beer that we enjoyed.
What beers do you brew here at Mountain Goat?
We make as many as we possibly can and can think of. At the moment, on the bar here, we've got 7 beers. We've got our steam beer, our Hightail Ale, which was the first beer we started with, the amber ale. We've got a Doppelbock, which is a German-style rich multi-lager. A Bock's a rich multi-lager. A Doppelbock is a more intense, even richer, even maltier lager. We've got an IPA. We've got a double IPA. How many am I up to?
That's 4.
Stout. And our stout is probably the last one. But we also do a wheat beer. We've done a Scotch ale. We've got a Scotch ale in the tank. We've got a Kolsch in the tank right now.
That's 1 beer for every day of the week?
At the moment, yes. Yeah, and we do drink beer most days of the week too, if we can.
And the Anchor, can you explain, the steam beer, sorry.
Yeah.
Can you explain about the steam?
The steam ale for us was us trying to make an interesting yet sessionable beer, I guess. So a steam beer is traditionally a lager brewed like an ale, but we don't like to do things that other people do, so we brewed an ale sort of like a lager. So it's a cooler fermented ale. So it gets that fruity estery ale character, but at the same time, it's cool fermented, so it is crisper and cleaner like a lager. Yeah. And it's got quite a lot of wheat malt in it as well to fill out the palate.
Oh, okay. As well. Which beer brewed by someone else has inspired you the most?
The beer that tipped me over was the Liberty Ale by Anchor Steam Brewery in San Francisco when I was over there. I just felt it had everything that a beer should have. It was malty, it was bitter, it was hoppy, it was dark, but in all of that character, it was a drinkable beer and a palatable beer, and it opened my eyes to what beer could really be. And then it's a slippery slope to double IPAs and hops and malt and all those other things.
What was the most exciting thing that ever happened to you? What's your beer moment?
Not long ago in Belgium, in the cradle of beer.
Yep.
Beer making. We got a great tour with. I was with the head brewer from Little Creatures at the time, luckily enough, Alex, and we went through the Duvel Brewery in Mortgart, just outside of Antwerp, and we were tasting Duvel out of the bright beer tanks, and it was just sublime.
Yeah,
beer.
the devil of a beer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
A morning beer. The devil of a beer.
Yeah. Dave, I've got to ask you because I don't know. What's that?
That's Randy.
Oh, come and show me.
Randy is short for Randall Handle.
Yeah.
And a Randall Handle is the best way to get late hop character into a beer. What happens is we stuff it full of hop flowers, fresh hop flowers, and the beer comes out of the keg, which is in the cool room, up over the fresh hop flowers, straight out of the tap into your glass.
10-second hopping.
10-second hopping, late. The only way to get it later would be to have a hop flower floating in your pot glass.
Fantastic. But what's in there now?
We actually have coffee beans and stout in there now, because stout and coffee just go so well together. And the interesting thing about this is the caffeine also comes over, so you get a little caffeine buzz as well. I did that experiment on myself and was up all night one night after drinking 3. So it was good. Yeah.
Dave, it's been great to see you again. I'll leave you in peace.
Thanks, Gage.
Cheers. English Pale Ales, Timothy Taylor. We have the Timothy Taylor landlord. Timothy Taylor has been brewing beer for 150 years in West Yorkshire. They sell their beer in the UK, which is cask conditioned, re-fermented in the keg through the 20 or 30 pubs they own in England. This beer, the Timothy Taylor Landlord, has won the Grand Champion Beer of Britain 4 times. In Australia, we get the filtered one, which is the filtered one in the bottle, but it still is apparently Madonna's favourite beer. So there you go. Yeah, Madonna. So what we're looking for in this beer is medium levels of maltiness and medium to high hops. So we're really looking for integration. So what do you think?
Well, this is a really classy beer. It's very rich tasting. It's got high hops, high malt, good long aftertaste, a honey smell, a honey taste, very well integrated, very nice beer. In fact, you could imagine walking down the road on an afternoon in Yorkshire, going to the pub, oak beams everywhere, grass bits hanging around, saying, "Landlord, give me a pint of your best ale, and I'll have a ploughman's lunch and a pork pie while I'm at it," and I'd be as happy as I can't really say that.
No, you can't be, but mate, they wouldn't understand the Australian accent. They'd look at you like you're a man from Mars. I reckon this beer has nearly almost everything. It has balance, it has length, it has intensity and complexity. The balanced hops and malt are beautiful, a nice length, it's got a nice length in the flavour. It's complex, and it's very, very good beer. This is a real standard. I'm going to give this one 4 out of 5.
Yeah, 4 out of 5 from me too. Well, that brings us to the end of another show. Thank you for watching The Beer Frontier, and next week we'll be looking at American Pale Ales as opposed to British Pale Ales, just to confuse everybody. And thank you for watching. Don't forget to look at the website for everything about the show. That's thebeerfrontier.com.au. So thanks very much for watching, and good night and cheers.
Cheers. Good night.